It's a day since the symbolic funeral of the teenagers who died at the eNCA Tavern. Families of the 21 deceased have been asked to remain patient as forensic experts work on establishing the cause of their deaths. Our senior reporter Avuyam Dila is at the Orange Grove squatter camp and joins us this morning. Good morning, Avuyam. Indeed, it is a day after a very emotional day for the families yesterday, which in essence symbolized the coming to a close of a chapter of these families being with their children in the physical form. How have they been?
Good morning, Fundo. And many promises were made, in fact, in that symbolic funeral of the 19 teenagers. As you'd understand, only now are these families preparing to lay the loved ones in the majority. As we do understand, those funerals will be happening up until Sunday. But of course, the biggest headache for these families is that they still don't know what led to the deaths of their teenagers. Among the other promises, there was a promise of a crackdown on tavern owners. Just some that were made there, both by the President as well as the Minister of Police, Bekekele. And now I'm catching up with Ntombi Zonke Mgangala, who is the aunt of 17-year-old Sinotando, a grade 11 learner who passed away tragically just over a week ago on that fateful Sunday. Mama, thank you for joining us at eNCA. But I want to reflect with you just maybe on your biggest takeaway from all that was said yesterday. Indoneo waibamba wena ebithethwa phayizolo.
Okay, enkosi kakhulu tata manibulele nami lithuba eyona nto endiyivileyo endiye ndayibamba kwintetho ile kaPresident yokuthi iminyaka yabantwana ababathengiselwe utywala bazayonyusa to 21 years. So how I wish, because we know our government usloko epromisa ngezinto kodwa ubonakala zingenzeki. As we speak, we had 2 children abebephayana. The other one was 16-year-old, and also I have got children of my own around these 18, 16 years old basela utywala. So if ever bangabe kanti bayawugqinisa lo mthetho wokonyusa and also baqiniseke into yokubana they are going to follow it up, bangawubeki nje umthetho bathi bisawugqiba bangawulandeli.
Okay, Fundo, it's that promise of a possibility that the drinking age could be now lifted to 21, saying that she has children of her own who she hopes with this possibility of the age restriction being to 21, it will at least be enforced and will ensure that only children that are above the ages, well, adults that are above the ages of 21 will be the ones allowed to drink alcohol. Mama, I want to go then to some of the promises that have been made even prior. The police did promise that they'd visit the houses, the families of the bereaved, house to house. Is that happening? As Thembiso zokuba amapolisa azawuza azonichazela ngcono bakwenzeka ntoni iyenzeka loo nto?
Njengoba ndithetha nje nani asikafumani kwanto besise Scenery Park ngomvulo asithembisa ke amapolisa into yokuba awakwazi usixelela sindawoninye azawusizela kumakhaya ngamakhaya. Asikafumani call ke thina ke amapolisa asikhangelayo athi sikhonana endlini for ukuzisa ke lo myalezo. Nangoku njengoba ndithetha nje silungiselela uhamba sibheke ezilalini, obviously sizawungcwaba singakange siyazi ba umntwana wethu ubulewe yintoni. Ibhlungu ke kakhulu loo nto leyo, more especially when you look at death. It's the first of its kind. Mna ndingcwaba death ibhalwe under investigation, and ngokokunokwam andinalo nethemba lokuba ingabe iphinde itshintshwe kwakuba death yenziwe ithi under investigation. It looks like kwawuhlala kungulo under investigation kude kungaphindi kubuye lento ezawutsho uba kanye kanti ke eyona nto isihluphayo into yokuba umntana ubulewe yintoni. Umzekelo xa ndinothi ndithethe nje kancinci ngalo wethu umntwana, because abantwana bebehambe naye bathi ebengaselanga nakakhulu kangangento yokubana izinto zabo bebezigcinisa yena, uyayibona. So siyazibuzisa ke xa umuntu ebenganxilanga, sorry ke to use such language, then abe kanti uzawuba ngoyena bade bathi xa bathethayo they wish bekusoleke bona kunaye because yena was sober kunabo. So sinalo ngxaki.
So those promises not coming to fruition. There were promises made by the police on Monday that they'd visit these families individually, house to house. That hasn't happened, and Mama Ntombe Zonke is saying that they're now preparing to leave as in today, of course, laying their daughter to rest on Saturday in the rural villages. So, of course, even if the police were to come, they will now lay that daughter without knowing what led to the death, saying that it's the first time ever where she sees in a death certificate where the cause of death is written under investigation. She's not hopeful at all that it will change. In fact, it leads to my next question, Mfundo. Mama, unalithemba uba nawuze niyazi nilusapho, do you think that you'd ever know what really led to the death of your teen daughter?
Andinalo ithemba bhuti wam, andinawuze ndikuphosisele, andinalo ithemba. Andiyazi ngoba ngoku besifowunelwe kucelwa nempahla ezimntana ebezinxibile, ingathi kusaqhutyelekwa kusenziwa amanye amaphando. So ithemba lona andinalo tu, andifuni ukuphosisa. Andinalo ithemba loba sizawuze side siyazi uba kanye kanye kwenzeke ntoni na.
She doesn't have an inkling of hope, Mfundo, that she'd ever know what led to the death of Sino Tando, 17-year-old girl, of course, who also perished in the unexplained deaths that happened at eNCA Tavern. She was saying a bit earlier on, Mfundo, that in fact, those that were with her on the day suggest that she was sober, having not consumed much alcohol. In fact, she was given the task of keeping the belongings of others, while, of course, they were in a more not sober state. So she's not hopeful that much will change. There have been those promises that have been made, even teams that are said to be cracking down on exactly what led to these deaths, even cracking down on the South African police service in eNyobeni, as the suggestions that there had to be police called in all the way from Fleet Street in order to attend what was happening in Scenery Park while the police were non-responsive. So there have been those promises, but on the ground, it looks like these families, while the family of Sino Tando, not hopeful that much will change.
No, very concerning. It's honestly very telling, because even after commitments from the police minister, commitments from the president, you have a community saying, no, we don't believe anything will happen. Clearly, government has not conducted itself very well in that particular community, because they're speaking from a place of knowing and really telling the media that they're not hopeful. Very, very disturbing. Thank you very much for that update, Aviwe, that senior reporter, Aviwe Mtila in Scenery Park for us. To the story.